Welcome to the latest 10 demo. 10 was founded by nationally acclaimed veteran urban classroom teachers Dr. Jeff Duncan Andrade, Dr. Allison Tintiago Cubales, and Dr. Patrick Carmagnan in partnership with the nation's leading educational researchers. They are regularly invited to be the keynote speakers at events all over the world, inspiring educators to become community responsive. These are the challenges of traditional approaches to education in our nation that they typically address in their messages. After hearing their talks or reading their publications and their critiques of traditional schooling, folks in their audiences who are inspired and find themselves like-minded immediately want to know how they can become community responsive and the type of educators Jeff, Allison, and Cam describe. So, after a decade of flooded email inboxes and profound questions of all of them, Jeff, Allison, and Cam decided to create the infrastructure to get teachers and leaders on the path to becoming community responsive and to connect like-minded educators on the same journey, so those passionate teachers can create the conditions that ultimately foster increased engagement and higher student achievement. What they developed is 10, which occurs in the 3 parts I'll describe for you now. The first part involves our 52 qualities of effective teaching. Jeff, Allison, Cam, their colleagues, their students at State, and their students in their classrooms spent over a decade doing an extensive review of the research on what it takes to be successful with urban youth, inside and outside of classrooms, in vulnerable communities. And this is what they found and organized into the 3 critical domains of responsibility, relationships, and relevance. So, how does an educator go about deciding which ones to focus on first? That decision is made in concert with the school community. The educators participating in 10 ask all of their stakeholders, their students, families, colleagues, and school administrators, all of the people who are typically impacted by the highest level ideas and top-down decisions, which are the ones that matter most to you? Which ones are the conditions most needed to foster self-actualization and student achievement in this school? Which do I need to be really good at to serve you best? And this is where traditional approaches to education fall away and the dialogical relationship begins. A student, family member, teacher, or administrator taking the priority survey, which is also available in kid-friendly and other languages, goes to www.10teaching.net, types in a code, and accesses the priority survey, which looks like this. They slide the qualities on the cards that they like best into the slots like a solitaire game, and it goes immediately through our equity algorithm and lifts up the 12 priorities that are most important to the school community as a whole. And that, to a teacher or an administrator accessing 10 on their screen, looks like this. There are always 4 that lift it up for relevance, 4 for relationships, and 4 for responsibility. What's great about this data is you can play with it. With all the 52 qualities listed down the center, you can sort and filter by domain, or by role, race, ethnicity, primary language spoken, and by grade. So now if you have some disproportionality in your outcome data for subpopulations of students, you can use this data to address it and find out what those subpopulations are prioritizing for their learning. This data helps administrators make decisions on how to allocate resources and what kind of professional development is needed for their staff. For example, in this slide, the priorities data lifted up that the staff at this school need to be well-versed in cultural responsiveness, culturally relevant pedagogy, and have general cultural competence in the eyes of the school community. This priorities data also helps teachers and administrators create a shared language about what excellence in teaching and learning looks like and sounds like and involves the community in that dialogue. Here we have, in yellow highlight, a map of the Danielson rubric, a popular rubric for teaching excellence used by many schools, to our 52. You'll note that most rubrics and frameworks for excellence in teaching and learning don't include all 52 elements. And what you see here in green highlight is what the stakeholders in a school in New York said were important to them. The teachers and the principal were able to see that the community has needs and conditions that are essential to the educational experience of their children that is not explicitly addressed through the Danielson rubric. So the school can now enhance those components as a whole and in individual classrooms to meet the needs of their community. And that's when 10 gets really exciting and sets it apart from all other online professional survey and professional development experiences. After the priority survey is completed and the conditions required for success are known, an individual teacher participating in 10 gets to ask his or her students, their families, their colleagues, and their administrators, so, how am I doing at serving you in what you lifted up as most important to you? What is going well? And how can I improve in what's meaningful to you? Teachers participating in 10 ask their students, families, colleagues, and administrators To go to www.10teaching.net, punch in a different code, and take the feedback loop survey. On the left, you see a screenshot of a quality with its description and the opportunity to select the Likert bubble, which will then turn into a numerical rating. And once that bubble is clicked, the box in the screenshot on the right pops up and says, "Why did you give that rating?" And the stakeholder can type in their comments, rationale, and suggestions. And here's where critical pedagogy starts happening in a practical way. As Paulo Freire says in his book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, the students become the teachers, and the teachers become the students. The teachers learn from the priority survey what is most important, and they learn from these comments here what they should keep doing, stop doing, and what can be done differently. To a participating teacher in 10, their feedback data looks like this, and it belongs to them. While the school, district, or regional administrators can see the feedback data in aggregate for the teachers participating in 10 across the organization, they can't tie feedback data to a specific individual teacher. Only the teachers are the ones who can see their comments like this and engage this professional opportunity to grow on an individual and personal level, sharing their data with trusted colleagues at their discretion. They can look for outliers in their data, and they can sort their data to read the comments from subpopulations accordingly. They can filter their data to find out how to serve their students most equitably, so they can truly differentiate. In the current landscape of education, we have plenty of outcome data, such as test scores and reading and math levels and even portfolio assessments. What hasn't existed that 10 provides is process data on the experience of what happens between a teacher and student, such that learning can occur. 10 believes that the most influential factor in a student's achievement is the teacher, and without the quantitative and qualitative process data that 10 provides, a teacher can only adjust content, not truly adjust process, which is causal to student achievement. At 10, we also believe that without authentic relationships, you have nothing. The process of a teacher making him or herself reciprocally vulnerable to students and their families builds trusting relationships and increases family engagement exponentially. With so many schools with a rhetoric of empowerment, 10 provides the voice that is required to truly empower. Invoking critical pedagogy, first highlighted by Paulo Freire, teachers dialogue about their data and their goals in praxis learning communities, or PLCs. These community-responsive PLCs leave behind the days of sit and get through a PowerPoint teacher PD, and they set out to engage in 5 foundational experiences with very fair products: a member profile, a growth plan, and a learning plan. At the first meeting, teachers enter into their profiles their teaching philosophy, the highest bar of professional standards that they can set for themselves and share with each other. At the second meeting, they disaggregate and analyze their community's priority survey data. And in their third meeting, they analyze the feedback loop data from their stakeholders on the extent to which they are successful in serving according to those priorities. At their fourth meeting, they use the guidance from 10 infrastructure here to craft their personal growth plans. And then finally, at their fifth and last of the foundational meetings, they work together to design their PLC team's learning for the duration of the semester or year to address each individual's growth plan and collaboratively engage in best practices for teacher growth through critical pedagogy. If they get stuck along the way, or if they want to engage the ideas and resources of other like-minded colleagues across the world, they can lean on their 10 circles. Once they join 10, they are automatically placed in circles for their school, their district or region, and the circles that correspond with the qualities they chose to focus on in their personal growth plans. Like a chat room or a Facebook closed group, they can ask and answer questions, share resources, and provide updates and encouragement. They can rely on our experts during live coaching calls scheduled at intervals during the year, and they can engage in person, either at one of our spring or fall symposiums or at our annual conference in Oakland each August, where sessions are designed for our teachers to teach teachers and grow and learn together. A typical school joining 10 at this time of year may engage this sample timeline, which maps out launching the priority survey, engaging the foundational PLC meetings, and preparing for ongoing learning alongside the community for years to come. In closing, I'll leave you with this analogy. If your goal is to lose weight, stepping on the scale over and over again doesn't help you lose more weight, in the same way that obtaining and looking at test scores and reading levels and similar outcome data on a frequent basis doesn't help you improve teaching and learning. You need to leverage what happens between teachers and students to create the conditions for success, just like you need the Fitbit and nutritional data to understand which elements of your workout regimen are causal to the success of losing weight. Membership with 10 is kind of like a gym membership, with the Fitbit included. We have infrastructure, people, and experts that you can access and use in ways and at a pace that works best for you. You can basically take our infrastructure and run with it. You can work in teams to strengthen your practice as a teacher or as a school and get the process data, like using a Fitbit in addition to your scale, to let you know if what you're doing day to day in the classroom, what is causal to student success, is working. Join 10 today and work alongside your community and educators across the world to transform education. Thank you.